designed for kids and adults. This one, this little bag of jellies, mango peach, $90 for a bag. Send you sky high. We have no idea. Some of these things are so mislabeled, and the police will talk about that in a moment. No one knows what's in any of this. This is why we passed Senate Bill 3. This is why the House passed Senate Bill 3, to ban these products. Sour bells, slices. How about gummy worms? Gummy worms. This is what parents, you need to tell this story so that parents understand the 8,000 shops have been put in Texas in the last 3 years, many of them without permits, selling this to their kids to destroy their kids. And why would drug dealers seize Texas? Because they found a loophole in the hemp bill, which Charles Perry will talk about. And they want to hook our generation of young people today for a lifetime of drugs. And you need to sell that story. This is what it's all about. And it's not just kids buying this. Adults buy it, give it to kids. Adults buy it for themselves. We had horrendous testimony of one 22-year-old who bought this. I don't know what product it was. I think she said wedding cake. He stepped in front of a train and got run over, killed. This is serious business. This is not Dan's folly. This is not Dan's priority. This is to save an entire generation of being hooked on drugs. And I need for you all to take this story seriously. Because does anyone want to try any of this? Would you buy anything off the shelf that you didn't know what was in it? That could change your whole mental state for the rest of your life? Would you want that? Anybody want this bag? Okay, you want it? I don't think you want it. You wouldn't dare buy it. You wouldn't let your children or your grandchildren buy it. And by the way, come September, all this will be illegal anyway. So I'll be turning this over to the police before I leave here. You don't know what's in it. No one knows what's in it. This is not a game. In essence, the loopholes for Delta 8 and Delta 10 that were created around the natural hemp of Delta 9, they have come into this state and used our state to be a drug dealer. And we will not let the state of Texas be in the drug business of making these products available on the shelves. Charles Perry, let me turn it to you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. And we started this session with this issue, and I never doubted the legislature would respond. The vote to ban stuff that arguably nobody can argue against is harmful. Reflects the conscience of the 181 members, the majority, bipartisan on both chambers, that there is a limit. In 19, we had an opportunity to develop an ag industry that would provide a product that served a real need in the way of fiber, construction, substitute for wood and lumber. And I warned at that point in 19 that if this stuff was to happen, we would get rid of you. And they didn't believe it. In 21, I filed a bill to get rid of them. In 23, I filed a bill to get rid of them. It took about 4 years, unfortunately, and lives lost and lives ruined to get it to the level and awareness that I was able to bring it to that level for the legislature to fully understand and communities to get behind what needed to be done. Our law enforcers have been living this nightmare since 2021, and it's over today. Just for the ag conversation, there's a narrative out there that we're killing the hemp business in agriculture. Here's the facts that nobody wants to talk about. I've seen it in article. There was 184 acres, I believe, of hemp produced and tested in Texas in 2024. Over 125 million acres available. So when we say we killed the hemp industry for the ag business, first of all, we didn't touch the ag code. Federal ag law is still in place. If you're under compliance with the federal ag law and you're doing stuff for fiber and stock and production for those other products that we hope to do, you didn't get affected by this. But if you're doing hemp that ultimately ended up as a Delta 8 or a Delta 10 or hot going forward, you're out of business. And you should be. I'm proud of the way the Texas legislature took this on. This is not easy, right? You've got people that have invested a lot of time and energy and monies in these businesses, but they were forewarned, don't do what you did, or this would be the day we're here. So I can't say enough about Lieutenant Governor's support on this, but mainly I had a legislature that I said reflected a conscience. We have gave some solace, if you will, to the people that have had this impact their lives, but we have protected people going forward that will never know what we did for them. And I'm thankful for today to have members that did that for me. Thankful for the leadership from the top down that required us to be able to do this. And I'm sad that we're here for a lot of reasons. But I'm encouraged going forward that this stuff's gone. And most people will never know what we prevented them from being able to get into, that they had no idea what they were going to be doing. Thank you.
And just to the media, so you know, the Delta 9, the 0.3, these products are Delta 8, Delta 10. It can be almost anything. No one knows what's in any of these bags. The ingredients make no sense. The milligrams, if you look at this one says 300 milligrams, but if you add up what it really says, it could be 1,200 milligrams. Nobody, this is all phony junk that for the last 3 years people have been able to buy through Delta 8, Delta 10, and infused in drinks as well. So this is why we banned it. Now you see why of the 8,000 plus locations, and again our undercover investigation, probably less of them even have a permit, why these, almost all of them are within 1,000 to 2,000 feet of schools. So don't let them tell you that we didn't target kids. What do you think this targets? And this targets adults too. I mean, you know, grown men sit down and eat a snack, popcorn, candy while they're watching a game. They buy it too. I want to turn this over. I'm going to come back to Charles and our teacup program. But Chief Bert, where's the chief? Here you are, Chief, from Tomball. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, let me put you in the middle here, next
Yes,
to
sir.
Senator Huffman.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. I'm Jeff.
Just
Yes,
hold
sir.
up a little high, yeah.
I'm Jeff Bert. I'm the Chief of Police in the city of Tomball, and thank you for having me here today. On behalf of the Texas Police Chiefs Association and really law enforcement across the state of Texas, I want to thank the House, the Senate, and the Lieutenant Governor for having the courage, the conviction, the wisdom, and the character to do something about an epidemic in our state. I've been in Texas for 5 years. 24 years before, for the last 24 years prior to that, I lived in Los Angeles. I was LAPD and worked a few narcotics units, and I saw when marijuana was legalized and then the hemp products and gummies and all this and edibles came in, and it was unregulated havoc, and it wreaked havoc on a state that is still feeling its repercussions. And in Texas, we are better than that. We have to be better than that. Ladies and gentlemen, what they said in front of you, as a guy who raised 4 daughters with my wife, I read every label on everything. And I think Texas are smart, people are smart consumers. We are. We can tell you what's in a bag of Cheetos and in a bag of, in a Snickers. I can't tell you what's in here. This, right in front of you, is a drug deal. That's all it is. And it's the most insidious kind of drug deal, because it isn't somebody that sneaks off when a police officer sees him or her and runs into an apartment and we go chasing. They're selling this in gas stations right next to Snickers and Cheetos. I love Snickers and Cheetos. But the bottom line is, this is that kind of deal, and it's happening right under our noses. And law enforcement, if we are anything, this badge that sits over our heart for every man and woman, it doesn't just sit over our heart, it is our heart. We are supposed to be the answer. We are supposed to come to people's aid and solve problems. And when we can't test this in a cost-effective way or to understand even what's in it, we're at a loss. We want to be the answer. I don't want you to have to dial 912. There isn't a 912. We want to solve your problems. And this bill is a massive help to law enforcement, but more than that, it's a help to our towns, our communities. In the city of Tomball, beautiful little place, there are 3 times as many establishments that sell THC edibles as there are family restaurants. So this is a big deal, and it's I'm so grateful and stand by the Lieutenant Governor and the House and the Senate and law enforcement. Thanks you all for your dedication.
Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Oh, I can just go there. Guy Willis, where are you, Guy? DA from Collin. Is Guy here? Right here, sir. Oh, come on up. Oh, hey, Guy. I didn't see you in the crowd. Grab the mic there. Hold it close.
Good afternoon. Greg Willis, Criminal District Attorney in Collin County. I think Senate Bill 3 is all about closing this loophole that is literally swallowing our next generation. It's a loophole so large that an entire industry has been able to walk through it and at the same time reach into our kids' minds and deform them in some ways. We're talking high-potency synthetic THCs, candies, gummies, colorful vape pens. That's all been sold as legal hemp. Now, if you look at it, you see around here, this stuff is packaged. It looks harmless. It looks fun. It looks kid-friendly. And there's no mistake in that because they are targeting our kids. Targeting our kids. Not adults, not patients, but our kids. And in Collin County, we see the results of it. We see the psychotic episodes. We see the suicide attempts. We sit down with parents who are heartbroken and devastated after something has happened with their child, after they consumed something that everybody thought was safe. Basically, if you want to sum it up, I don't know if Senator Perry would agree with this and Lieutenant Governor Patrick, but basically, if it gets you high, it's not legal hemp. If it gets you high, it's not legal hemp. And it certainly doesn't belong on a shelf next to some Skittles. Now, there's some powerful voices that are causing some confusion. They're working hard to cause some confusion. But let me tell you this. There's no confusion in the emergency room. There's no confusion when a parent sits across from me, heartbroken and devastated, having no idea that their child could consume something so dangerous, and that was legal nonetheless. SB 3 is focused, it's necessary, and it's urgent. This is how we protect our kids. This is how we protect mental health. And this is how we fix a law that has failed to protect either one. I applaud the Lieutenant Governor, Senator Perry, both houses for passing this legislation, and in so doing, standing with Texas families, law enforcement, and public health. Now I'd like to turn it over to Chambers County Sheriff Brian Hawthorne.
Thank you, Prosecutor. I'm Brian Hawthorne. I'm the Chambers County Sheriff just east of Houston on Interstate 10. I think it's important for everybody to know the little town of Winnie in Chambers County has more retail stores that are selling THC products than we do fast food, and that's on the interstate. So that ought to tell somebody something. When I first got into law enforcement, we worried about lots of different drugs, but over the last, say, 10 years, we used to really worry about the cocaine out of Colombia or the methamphetamine out of Mexico. I now worry about the baked goods coming out of California and the candy coming out of Colorado. And what's really interesting is the fact that many of these products that the Lieutenant Governor has here on the table, they don't allow them to be sold in their state. They just ship them to us to poison our children. So on behalf of the Sheriff's Association of Texas, we stand with Senator Perry for authoring this bill, and we stand with Lieutenant Governor for moving this bill. And thank you to the House for moving this bill along with us. And the Sheriffs of Texas support everything that the House of Representatives and the Texas Senate are doing to try and save our children. Thank you.
And thank you, Chief. Thank you, Sheriff. John Wilkerson, 10 PA. Hey, John, come on up.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. My name is John Wilkerson, represent the Texas Municipal Police Association. We're the state's largest association of rank and file officers. You heard a lot about what these products are doing, but what I want to echo to you is what our members are telling us. Our members are the folks that are out there working the streets at midnight, the ones that are having to go knock on doors and give bad information to parents whose children were killed because they got involved with some of this stuff, right, that you see right here in front of you. Our members have identified that this has been a problem for a long time. And from the rank and file, we just want to say thank you, Senator Perry, thank you, senators, and more importantly, thank you, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, for listening to those that are out there keeping this great state safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, sir. What's that cord there?
Yes, sir.
All right. Also want to recognize Tom Oliversson from the House, who helped us with the Compassionate Use Program. We are launching the biggest compassionate use program in the country with Charles Perry, going from 3 licenses to 12 licenses, expanding to chronic pain and terminal illness, because some people have said, well, what happens when this goes away? And you know, the people who are saying that are the people making all the profit off of this. They don't care about the health of adults or children. They care about making a profit. That's all they care about. But we wanted to respond to that. And so we have expanded that program, working with the only pain person we have in the legislature, Tom Oliversson. So we're also rolling that out at the same time through that passage. You want to make a comment, Joe?
Yeah, I'd say we promised on the front end, when we get rid of the bad stuff, we'll find a way to thread the needle for those that have found benefit in not this stuff. They're confused. But there is a cannabis line out there that does help people. So the Teacup program that's been around since 15 is now going to 12 locations. The Lieutenant Governor said, here's one big change. We increased the dosage to a 10 milligram level. So that's significant enough to address the pain that a lot of these people seek through that relief. We also add, as he said, added chronic pain. Chronic pain is a big shift. It's a big birth of potential people that probably at some level were taking some of these products at their own risk, self-medicating. You know, historically, Texas has never medicated through a gas station or a convenience store. So it's moving it to the proper area where it's prescribed, it's doctor monitored. In that program, we're going to go to those 12 licenses. We're going to push out satellite distribution centers. That's critical. Under the current program, I used the example in the previous, if someone in Lubbock needed this product under Teacup, they would have to have a physical driver take it from Austin to Lubbock. And if that person wasn't there when that person arrived in Lubbock, they would bring the product back. We're going to solve that by having satellite locations that actually store the product so that with prescript and when it's done, that person on the other end has something already there and they're not waiting and running the risk of missing it. So that reduces the cost. A large part of the cost of the Teacup program was the transportation issue. So the bill, we've addressed most of the cost factors. We're expanding supply, which brings down some of the cost. And we've given another layer of who can qualify underneath Teacup. So I think it's the relief we promised. To LATGov's credit, we did it responsibly, and he wanted to make sure we didn't open it up too wide to where people weren't going to get satisfied, but it will cover, I bet, 99% of the people that were in this market. So Texas does things big. Unfortunately, there was taking advantage of something that was bad that was big because we are big. We fixed that, but we're expanding the things that we believe are legitimate needs that can be met through a responsible delivery system. Medical cannabis does provide relief in certain instances. The key to that, it is regulated, and that's what we were missing in this other link. So we have moved forward in a responsible way as promised, and I think Lieutenant Governor's right. It will be the largest medical cannabis program, regulated medical cannabis program in the country, and probably the most well designed, and I'm proud of that fact. And Representative Alderson had a big part of what does pain look like and how can we fix the pain that people seek. So we've got a good bill. 31-0 last night, I think, coming off the Senate floor. So that sends a strong message that people saw the need, we addressed the need, and we did it in a way where we had 31 votes off the Senate floor to get that bill moving.
And that's a clear message to our veterans. Not only are we doing the Ibogaine program, which was asked by some of our veterans like Marcus and Morgan Luttrell and others. We're doing this program, which our veterans, if they have cancer, PTSD, chronic pain, but it's going to be regulated to protect them. So we'll take questions, but I just want to close with this. It's seldom that you all write a story or broadcast a story that literally can save lives. So please ask your editors, your publishers, allow you to put photographs and video up of some of these products, because the average parent has not been in a smoke shop or a vape shop. They haven't seen this. If they saw it, they might think it's innocent candies from some local convenience store. They might think this cereal bites are innocent, but they need to know what's out there. And you alone in this room today, everything, even from these lollipops, you go into a bank sometimes, they have lollipops up there, if you have kids. These look just like those. I mean, I'm not saying the banks have them. My point is, my point is, you see lollipops. So what'd you know? You might go in the store and buy them and not even know that you're getting your kid high on drugs and hooked for life. So this is a place where you can really make a difference. The stories about jobs and mom and pop business. Look, this is all controlled by the drug industry in Colorado and California and elsewhere and out of the country. So they never dreamed we would ban it. They thought they had hit the gold mine in Texas. And I'm proud of the senators and the House members that stood up and said, you're not going to do this in Texas. You're not going to do it. So tell the story. Educate the public, because a lot of the public is still unsure of what this is all about. A lot of people never heard of THC. I was told by one of the staffers the other day, people in the Capitol didn't know what it was about, many. So help educate the public on this, because you will be saving lives. Any questions?
Are you worried about a veto?
I'm not. I pass bills, the governor signs or vetoes them. I know the governor, I know where his heart is, and I know where he wants to be to protect children and adults. Yes. Yes.
I'd love to ask, we're here on the last day that you can pass bills.
Yes.
And we're talking about bills that have already passed, as opposed to, say, some of the bail reform resolutions that don't look on track to pass in the House. Why focus on legislative battles that, for the most part, are already done?
Because there's a tremendous onslaught of pressure from an $8 billion industry that has unlimited money, and they're trying to poison the story to stop this from happening. That's why, because I can tell you how effective they are, because most of you in this room, no criticism personally, most of you in this room have bought into a lot of their story. Oh, it's going to cost jobs, it's going to impact the economy, it's an $8 billion industry, oh my goodness, what's going to happen? People are going to be hooked on drugs, having to go somewhere when all this goes off the shelves. You all have been, you're part of the problem, quite frankly, because you're not telling the story. So that's why we're here. And we're here because this never happens again. That's why we're here. So that everyone knows this story. So that the parents will rally, the superintendents will rally, the principals will rally, the communities will rally. You've already seen law enforcement, they've rallied to the cause. That's why we're here. There are a lot of bills that pass in there. They're important bills. But nothing is more important than stopping a kid getting a hold of this junk. Do you understand? Do you understand, really?
But how does it get stopped if it's passed? That's what the question is.
Because we're going to ban it, and it's going to be because it's going to be banned.
How does the ban get stopped at this point? It's on the way to the governor.
Because the industry is doing everything they can to. I'm not worried about the governor. I'm worried about the pressure on the media and the general public to try to keep this going in some way and bring it back or stay alive. Look, they're all going to file lawsuits. We know that's going to happen. These are bad actors. These are people who want to kill your kids, and they don't give a damn. So we'll fight this all the way. But that's why we're here today. This might be the most important bill we pass in this session.
I understand wanting to protect children, but you have grown adults who are using these products too.
Yeah.
Is there a way to do this where grown adults can still have access?
No, look, we don't want adults having this either. What are you, crazy? You want to go home and eat a bag of this tonight? See if you're here tomorrow? This is, we focus on kids because that's where they built the shops, but adults are buying this stuff too. Make no mistake. We want to protect the 20 and the 30 and the 40 and the 50-year-olds too. We don't want anybody buying anything off the shelf that could kill them or ruin their mental state for the rest of their lives. The young man who was 22, who stepped in front of a train after he ate some of this junk, he wasn't a kid. He was an adult. That's crazy talk. That's the kind of talk, the reason why we're here. Media that would say something as stupid as that. I'm sorry, it's just true.
Hear you say those things.
Yeah.
Just giving you the opportunity to
Yes,
say
sir.
I just want to ask about you've spoken about the safety
Yeah.
aspect of this. We are here already. It's
Yeah.
passed. You've mentioned you're not worried about the governor.
Yeah.
I just want to nail this down. Have you spoken with him? Was there a big rebuttal?
I speak with the governor every day.
about this.
Look, I'm not going to speak for the governor, okay? He will do what he's going to do. I have total confidence in the governor. You will know his decision when he makes it. The reason I'm here today is for you to tell the story. I'm not worried about the governor understanding it. I'm worried about you all understanding it.
Lieutenant Governor, can I kind of
Yeah, Rudy.
away from the governor to
Yeah.
the chronic pain
Yes.
issue? That was a big part of this
Yes.
whole negotiation. Senator Birdwell, early on in the debate, was really worried about opening this up with chronic pain.
Yeah.
Are you sure that we've avoided a situation with the legislation and the deal that we made with Doc up there?
Yeah, look.
Addressing the chronic pain,
Yeah.
we're not opening up Pandora's
No,
box.
no, I'm totally confident. That's why everyone said in the beginning, well, how come the Senate's not dealing with chronic pain? Because we wanted to spend time. Tom happens to be my next door neighbor. We've spent hours and hours talking about this. But all bills don't pass like that.
So your message to the people who have been saying, I've been self-medicating, this has helped,
Which is dangerous.
Helped me. I understand what you're saying, but there are people who say, this stuff has helped me. So your message to those individuals in regards to this chronic pain deal, is that going to solve in...
People who have true chronic pain, as described under the Medical Practices Act, are going to have real help, as Tom Oliversson would say, and he's thumbs up over there. He's the last guy that wants to see, and he's a pain doctor. He's a pain doctor. He brought the amendment to ban all of this. He doesn't want to see people self-medicate. You can't, as Charles said, you can't self-medicate yourself at a gasoline station or at a smoke shop. You can't do that. You don't know whether you're 40 or 14. You have no idea what you're doing to your body and to your mental health. One last question.
So you have applications are due next year.
Yeah.
It takes some time to set up for new businesses and
Yeah.
locations
Yeah.
out in the rural areas. But this stuff gets banned in September. What do
Yeah.
people do between September and when the TPUC gets really expanded?
Charles? We're moving it forward.
So, to be clear, it's TMB, Texas Medical Board's definition of chronic pain. I searched high and low to figure out who was. Multiple people gave me the definition. So it's consistent, and it addresses acute versus chronic. That's what puts the definition in there. To your question, we have currently 3 licensures. One is active. The other 2 are dormant. What we hope to do is get those guys with the satellites as soon as possible. We ought to be able to have enough rules, and DPS ought to get those guys out in the field as quick as possible. Then we add 9 more, and the first 3 are required to come through an existing 150 applicants that are sitting at DPS today. They had a 2/23 deadline. They were in the system. They've been sitting there waiting for approval. So that's the low-hanging pool, if you will, to pull the next 3 from for sure. We did not prohibit the DPS from using all of the 9 there. We gave them the flexibility to open it up if they didn't find the people in those groups they needed. So the next 3 are supposed to be in place, I believe, by April 1st of 26. The first 3 are October 1 of 25, and then the next 6 are going to be by April 1st of 26. So if we're successful in getting those 3 locations out of the 150 plus the 3 we have, and there's a concerted effort to deploy those satellites, you will see an impact regionally. The idea here is nobody's going to be within a long distance of trying to find those. But we have 3. 2 of them will get reactivated. The one that's very active is ready to go. Those satellites will be rules propagated and in place, I hope, by mid-October. It shouldn't take that long. And the new ones, we've given them an extra about a year, April, I think, 1. So we're going to move it as fast as we can. Those are deadlines, right? Hopefully they'll get it done quicker because they know this is a priority of the state. So we're going to be there as quick as we can. We've got some headway with some of the existings, plus the next 3 come out of a group that's already been vetted, if you will.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you all. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate it. Don't take anything with you. Okay?
Who bought it? Did your office buy all this?
I have shoppers. Let's just put it that way.
Did they get carded?
I didn't ask them, but in 50% of the stories, And shops, they weren't carding people.